Oh, I can't.
Sid
I
blinked.
lost. I can't do that.
She blinked. She blinked.
Yeah.
Of course I won.
Of course. Of course
Are
you
you
won.
going to redo? Okay.
No, we can't redo because it's live. We're live now.
Okay.
So
Well, the newest person does get like a 5 second, so Derek is still last.
I technically lost. Technically, according to the
Psyched you
rules.
out, yeah.
So Sid Muldrow, thank you for
Yes.
coming today.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here. You also be on List It Live a little bit later today. You have a listing, an awesome
do.
listing actually to
Yeah.
tell us about. So we look forward to that. Right now we're going to talk downtown marketplace market shifting. We have the mortgage geek in the house with the green tie today, money green, because if you need money,
Bam!
he's the man you call. Now, downtown is really near and dear to me for a lot of reasons. I lived there for almost 6 years in one stretch, and then a year before that, had my daughter down there when she was little, go to Petco Park, like love M2I. I love the market down there. Yeah. It's always been an anomaly though. There's always something going on, like it was overbuilt, and then there was all this, and then it's underbuilt, and then litigation, and then now what the heck's going on right now?
I think we just have a lot of inventory right now. A lot of people have been waiting for the summer market because, you know, obviously it's record high is summer for sales.
Right.
And now that it is summer, everyone's trying to sell. So right now we're seeing a 40% increase in inventory downtown.
40%?
40%, over 40%. What? 40.4 to be exact.
A lot of price reductions too.
And a lot of price reductions. So what that means when all this is happening, you know, we're seeing a shift. So we're moving from a very strong seller's market 6 months ago to now we're leaning towards a buyer's market.
So is it on sale? I mean, is this like, this is an opportunity?
This is a great opportunity. So if you've been waiting to buy downtown and you're looking for those, you know, those great deals, this is probably going to be a great time to start.
Is there anything that's still in litigation, or is everything out?
From my knowledge, everything is pretty much out of litigation. M2I, the Mark. I don't think anything in East Village was in litigation at the time. Pretty much a lot of
out.
Yeah, Aquavista's out. So yeah, there's a lot of inventory. So that's another thing too. People were waiting for litigation to end, and now that, you know, with, and then also with Pacific Gate and Savina coming to market, inventory is just going to keep going up.
And those are really high end, like $1,000 a foot, kind of like.
Pacific Gate.
Pacific
Savina is
Gate,
more
right?
on the, I would say, on the more affordable condo pricing.
Isn't it still like 700 or 800?
Yeah, but the HOA is high, so that's kind of the offset of that. So you're still, I mean, you're still paying, you know, $1,200 a month for HOA, but you get all the amenities, of course.
Bonkers.
Yeah, wrap your head around that, right?
I actually do not. Okay, I was paid $936 for HOA like in 2012. So when I hear like $1,000, I'm like, okay, well,
A deal, right?
yeah, I'm like, that's not that bad. I mean,
Well, the
I
legend
literally
is-
had a broken down pool and I was paying $936. So, were all the amenities that they're getting? Yes, it does seem high compared to M2I or Icon or you know those other
Or Doma, or, you know,
or like Park
Aperture,
Terrace or even
yeah.
Legends was it? You know, remember like Legend, the Legend or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, Legend,
That was
yeah.
like what, $650, $700 or
is-
something, right?
which is
And
high
at the
for
time was
East
like,
Village.
oh my gosh, that's kind of high. But
Yeah.
you guys, like, we were looking at the Petco Park. We had like barbecues up on the 7th floor or whatever. And I sometimes think that HOAs get undervalued. Like, I think that there's a point for them.
There is, no question.
There is. So,
Yeah.
you know, I always say if you were to own a single family home, say in Claremont or Rancho or wherever your home is, the cost of maintaining that home per month, you know, could be offset by the HOA. Like, you don't have a gardener, you don't have, you know, like outdoor maid service or whatever it might be,
Yeah.
water maintenance, you know, security. You know, HOA does come into play in, you know, certain markets like that.
Yeah, absolutely, but I mean, like, it definitely factors into the price of the homes. Right?
Absolutely.
And that's what we saw at Legend. So, like, Legend, you know, you would have, like, those 2-bedroom, sort of standard, like, 1,000 square foot, I think they're 950 square feet, and on different floors, and they go up all that one side of the building that faces towards the little ballpark area.
Right.
And there would only be, like, 590 or something. I'm like, well, this is a smoking deal. And then you go and you look, and it's like, okay, the HOA is 950. But, so it factors into the price.
Correct.
Which is great. So it's all inclusive. So the market doesn't lie. It can't tell a lie. The market's going, okay, well, my payment's going to be this, so I'm willing to pay that for it.
Right.
So it's always going to be factored in. So to think that, you know, that an HOA is too expensive, no, it's factored into the price.
Correct.
this is what people are willing to pay for all of these things inclusive. So in a situation like this, where we see there's a lot of inventory hitting the marketplace, we're seeing price reductions, we're seeing some buildings are just like, there's so many places for sale, they're like ghost towns.
Right.
That's actually an opportunity to buy because you can get a lower price. The HOA isn't changing.
Right.
Someone's paying the HOA fee.
Yeah, no,
Well,
definitely.
Plain
and
and simple.
HOAs do change, they get reassessed, but we're not talking about, anything significant. We're talking about maybe $50 here or $50 more, $50 less. It could vary.
Right.
But yeah, that's factored into the price. It's one of those guarantees like death. You have to pay for it. It's gonna happen.
Someone's gonna pay it.
So I have a real quick question. With more inventory, right, increased by over 40%, are you telling sellers to still list their home now, or
Absolutely.
because there could be even more of a decrease? I mean, interest rates are going up, folks, right? So like buyers need to buy. Yes, there's a little bit of decrease in the market, but I would say still buy. I mean, the rates will be continuing to increase. But what are you telling sellers?
Because everything's product based, right? So there's a buyer for every type of market. They want to be in East Village, Little Italy, Columbia Core, wherever you want to be downtown. So the product is, I feel like buyers are looking for certain things. For example, I just went into escrow on an amazing 1-bedroom apartment Icon in 11 days. But I have a listing in Little Italy that's been on the market for over 30 days. So it could be very product specific.
What are the price points on those? The one in Icon?
The one in Icon, we're just over $500,000.
Okay.
It's a 1-bedroom under 900 square feet. The listing I have in Little Italy, huge. Now we're switching over to a townhome. We're over 1,600 square feet under $1 million. Which, a very highly desired area to live in, but sitting on the market longer because it could be the price point. Now we're talking about more on the luxury end of things versus a more affordability.
Where does financing come in on that for the Mortgage Geek here? I mean, like if you're buying a $500,000 condo in Icon, which is now out of litigation. Before litigation was more
last
complicated.
year, you actually helped me with that transaction. Which
I brought Icon back onto the map of
Yes,
VA
you did.
during our escrow.
Yeah, VA.
Yeah, that was great.
More magic from the Mortgage Geek.
That was a difficult one.
Making it happen.
So here it is. I mean, that price point of like that 500, 600, we still have those 3 and 5% down, like a 5% down condo, right? So you're still entry level. You can get in there. When you get up to that 950,000, now we're talking about essentially jumbo, right? 20% down, or we have a 15% down. Yeah, we do have a 10% down, but you guys, there's a lot difference between a 10% down and a 20% down on jumbo, right? You're talking about like a 0.5% sometimes in rate.
Yeah.
So those buyers are getting a little bit nervous. And so I think that like the 500, 600, 700, I think that market is still going to be hot. I think it's going to be powering through. It doesn't really matter just because you can still get the low down payments.
Right.
It's just that higher market, hey, to lose 50,000, that's just straight down payment, right? I can weather the storm if the value comes down, but my loan amount is still there to cover me. It's really hard for an individual to look and say, I'm going to lose 50 or 75,000 of my possible down payment.
Right.
Right? So even though it's all the same, an investment only costs. Your investment is only going to cost you $500,000 because that's what you pay for it. $950,000, it's a mind frame, right?
Yeah,
it's a mindset.
If you think interest rates are going up, would you encourage people to do the lower money down options because then they're financing at a rate that's going to be a premium to what the marketplace is down the road, and they can use that money for other things, you think?
Absolutely. I think that down, putting all of your eggs in one basket, like 20% down, and then I look, and then I'm like, well, you have like $5,000 left. Like, hold on, let's do 10% down. You can still pay it. Get in there, see where the market is. If you want to bring that money in later, you can to reduce your payment through a recast. So, but just kind of like settle down a little bit. Don't throw everything in there because cash is king. I don't care what the market's doing. The market can be going up, going down, going sideways. It makes no difference. When you got cash in the bank, you're comfortable.
That's yeah.
You got options.
You got options. You're going to be able to weather a storm. If you get something happens with your employment,
It's a good cushion.
It's there. It'll make you feel comfortable every single day of your life.
I just wonder how many people, because we know for the past, I think 3 years was the data that I saw coming up to this year. The past 3 years, 38% of the transactions in San Diego real estate were in cash. And some of those are investors and they're flipping and that's part of their game and whatever.
Yeah.
So there's a portion of it that's that for sure.
Yeah.
And then there's a big chunk of that, let's call it half of that, that's people who just have money and they're just buying a house. Okay, I'm gonna buy the house. And how dumb do they feel right now going, you mean I could have borrowed money for 4%? I could have borrowed money for 3-something%?
And on a 30-year fixed.
On 30-year fixed.
Yeah.
And now rates are closer to 5 or even more in certain situations. And you're just going, gosh, what a bozo move. Now if I want to borrow that money or want to access that capital, I have to get it for this rate.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, and if rates are going to continue to go up, it's just kind of like, hey, a reminder, like, let's take a look at that. Let's make sure that that all makes sense. And in the downtown marketplace in particular, where I believe there's a tremendous amount of opportunity, and I'll just tell you my theory on this is based on construction costs. Like, the way I look at the value of a property is, okay, well, what would it cost for me to create this on my own? Like, you have this house for sale or this condo for sale. How much would, if I just went and built it on my own, how much would that cost? And to build in downtown, there's pretty much no way to do it and then make a profit without selling for close to 1,000 a foot. That, based on the regulations, based on
Yeah.
everything that's involved, building and then selling for a profit, you're going to be upwards of 1,000 a foot.
Yeah. Well, just think of all the new construction, Pacific Gate, for example. It's the first for sale condo high rise we had in over 10 years, give or take. Everything else that's been developing downtown has been rentals. So Pacific Gate's the first for sale building, and now we have Savina not too far behind it.
Right.
So that's a very good example of
Of
1,000.
that. But now go look at cost per square foot in M2I and some of these other places, like the one you're talking about in Icon. Let's say is roughly 1,000 square feet for 500,000. It's 500 a foot. It's
a great
half.
deal. Yeah.
It's a smoking deal
Because you can't build for that.
I can't, not even close.
Yeah.
I can't even get close. So if that's the case, then the only question is downtown going to become a ghost town? Are people going to vacate downtown completely? Or is it still fun? And I think it's still pretty fun.
I think it's more lifestyle, like you mentioned before, you live downtown, you had your first kid downtown. I think it's more of a lifestyle thing. People tend to change. Like I used to live in the big city. I used to live in New York. So for me, being in a big city, then I lived in a smaller town, I can go both ways, where I want to settle down. But I think it's really depends on the person's lifestyle. And then looking at that is, okay, is this for me? Is this going to be a deal?
You just call San Diego a small town.
No, it's growing. It's growing.
When you're from New York,
she's like, yeah, it's a small town.
Well,
in
I
San
mean, just
Diego.
for example, like I think a lot of people were very, we're very spoiled in San Diego. We have perfect weather, everything. You have views everywhere. Now you have these high rises going up, blocking your view. People want to move out. I'm leaving Electra because Pacific Gate's blocking my view. Because
is that happening?
It happens, yeah. It's happening.
Is Pacific Gate blocking views from?
Okay,
Electra?
so
Partial
Pacific Gate,
views.
is that the oval one?
Yes, it's almost shaped like a seashell.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's the
I
design
know
behind
somebody. I don't know if they're close to. I just know them.
it. Don't drop any names.
But they just were able, and they won in a lawsuit against. Isn't the developer the same people?
It is. It's
Okay,
both
so the
some.
developer had to buy his place back for what he paid for it in 2005 because
Oh, I
they
hadn't heard
actually
that.
knew that they were building it and never
disclosed
to them that they were building this and that they were going to block his view. So he's like, hey,
Oh, wow.
here's what I did.
That's interesting.
Now, he is very intelligent, and he also is one of like the top attorneys. So I think that he had a little bit more leverage and didn't cost as much money. But but that was something that just recently happened. So it was
And I
pretty
think
crazy.
this is
He
going
got
to
his money
keep
back.
happening in downtown. There's a lot of empty lots that a lot of people don't know. I mean, you can go online and find this out. So it's not any proprietary information by any means, but a lot of the lots are secured and for future development. So even, for example, like the lot next to the Mark is a parking lot right now. I think it's the Ace parking lot.
Yeah.
That's going to be a future development. So you living on the west-facing side, you're going to get blocked views eventually. But
Sell. If you live in the Mark.
no, stay because
Sell.
property values are going to go up because they're bettering the community, right? They're putting in, I believe it's I forgot the name of the hotel, but for example, like if they were to put a Whole Foods in East Village, that brings value into your town, into your little segment.
Unless
of the
it
city.
blocks your view, and then it might not.
But we're missing something.
Yeah.
We're talking about like, you know, are people going to be moving downtown? Or are people going to be vacating? I think that downtown is going to get flooded. Have you guys seen the new Manchester development?
No.
That's going to be very
Are you
exciting.
talking?
Like 8 city blocks on North Harbor.
You're talking about Seaport Village.
No,
Manchester from like
it's the old
1600
Navy-
block all the way down. You know all those parking lots
It's the
on.
old Navy buildings.
Oh, okay.
They just broke ground, I believe, less than a month ago.
I mean the
Yeah. Hotels,
sickest
restaurants,
thing that's
shopping.
being developed.
They're bringing shopping back downtown now.
Yep.
I'm really excited about that.
Really?
Yeah, like luxury high-end stores.
Offices,
Yeah.
like high-end stores and like gym. I mean, it's probably one of the most beautiful laid out developments for downtown.
It's Manchester.
Manchester's
Manchester
doing it,
perfect.
and that is going to be driving people to be wanting to be downtown. I'm telling you, genius.
That's why I've been looking at downtown for a while, and I feel like it's been on sale. And right now seems to be a moment in time where a little rise in interest rates, a few buildings get out of litigation, financing gets easier, inventory's hitting.
Get there.
Yeah.
It seems like it's the time to pull the trigger or really look and try to find a deal because you might actually find one.
Yeah.
Because it might not be a deal, 6 months to a year from now. So
Right.
it might, adjust again. So right now, I think it's a great time to actively start looking. And
What buildings do you think are the best value right now, in your opinion? Where would you buy if I gave you a briefcase for $1 million? I'd put $1 million, $1 million.
I will buy my listing right now because I love it.
In Little Italy?
In Little Italy, it's a townhome. It has 2 entrances.
Yeah,
You can
that's
walk
epic.
from the street. You can walk from inside the building, and it's right outside of the farmers market. But it's at the tail end, so it's still quiet. You can still have access to the garage to your building, and you get views from the water from your balcony. And
real?
it lives like a single family home.
This is the one on Listed Live later today?
Yeah, yeah. And I don't
Dang.
understand why I'm still on the market. I would buy it. But,
Okay.
we're talking close to $1 million.
Yeah.
It's not cheap, but I feel like the location and where you are, and I mean, who doesn't love Little Italy? I don't know if you've ever been under recently with the new
I go there all
piazza
the
that's
time.
opening. And
Yeah.
they moved the farmer's market over to Date Street now, which is really nice. So it goes all the way up the piazza. And I would buy.
Yeah, Little Italy's a great little marketplace. They have 2 really good vegan restaurants there, Cafe Gratitude.
Cafe.
Wait, are you
Gratitude.
vegan?
Yeah. And Civico 1845 is an Italian restaurant that has a vegan menu.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And
I
the
actually
chefs
didn't
are
watch.
from Italy. It is like going to Italy. The food is
Oh,
unbelievable.
I definitely had lunch there, but I'm not vegan, so I did not partake in that menu.
But I'm sure you loved it because it's
It's really good. You can sit outside. People are walking by. You always see people out in Little Italy, which I love. Certain parts of downtown, I feel like they're still figuring out the business aspect of it. We see a lot of business come and go,
Yeah.
especially during like the baseball season or not baseball season. But I love that side of town.
Yeah, the Padres also suck right now.
Are
Massively.
we last place?
Let's not talk about specifics, but we know that they're terrible.
Yeah.
Aren't
And
you Reds? Is it Reds?
Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Cardinals. I
Okay.
forgot their name. Have they been around very long? Fan, right? Okay, sorry.
Yes,
I
I'm
think
Cardinals.
they won
Okay, cool.
something
But
one
my
time.
point is that that downtown was built around Petco Park, right? It was like, okay, East Village especially was built around the idea that we're gonna have Petco Park, we're gonna have a professional baseball team, this is gonna have this amazing ballpark, and that's gonna be the centerpiece for all this stuff.
Right.
Unfortunately, we have a crappy team, so that also means that things might be undervalued a little bit. If they ever have a good team, that's what I've
You
always
think that
said.
would help?
It's just like my oil trade. So the one trade I've always made for the past 15 years has been the oil trade. Whenever people start talking about, how cheap gas is, you see stories on the news about how cheap gas is, I buy the USO. Whenever you hear people start talking about how expensive gas is, or posting on social media or in the news, I sell the USO. I recently just sold it, by the way, because I started hearing people complain about how much gas was. It was like I was in it for 2.5 years this last time. Same thing with downtown real estate. I feel like when the Padres are terrible, there's this people just want to get away. It's like there isn't as much action down there. The
Right.
businesses aren't as lively. Just not as much going on.
Yeah.
When we have a decent team, even just
Flooding the streets.
reasonably competitive,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Padres fans come out of the woodwork. They come from everywhere. They come from all over Chula Vista and East County, and they come from everywhere, and they flood that area, and they pour money in there and action in there, and then people want to buy there. And they'll say, you know what, man, we get a place right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of the games, and this idea starts circulating. So it's like, buy a place downtown. This is just for investment purposes. Buy a place downtown when the Padres suck. When they're good, sell it. Same idea.
Or you can rent it. Yeah,
in what,
hold on to your asset.
2004, 2005, maybe 2006, like when the stadium was packed. I mean,
When it first opened, it was
Yeah,
2006, I believe, right?
was it 6?
I think it was 2006, or maybe 2005.
Okay, I've only been here
I
11
mean,
years, so I don't know if I missed that.
It was so fun.
It was awesome.
I mean, streets
was
are
new.
completely packed. Everyone was going to the games. I mean, I didn't even really watch the game. I drank beer sometimes and had a couple hot dogs.
He's there for the Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
beers.
Oh yeah, that's epic.
So it was
true.
it was amazing. Everyone was excited. Let's go downtown. Let's go downtown. So I agree with that as well.
And we had Bud Black as our manager then. You know, we had Adrian Gonzalez. An all-star, legit all-star.
I truly never even watched the game.
Reasonable. We had a reasonable reason to go down. Like it makes sense to spend your time to go down and watch a game.
Well, was it 2 years ago when the All-Star game was here?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I never had. It was so fun.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many people downtown. I went to the home run derby. I went to the celebrity softball game. I mean, it was just, I never seen so many people, I guess maybe opening day.
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con.
Yes,
But,
yeah.
I mean, it was just like such good energy. So it was, just to see All-Star, American baseball game and your favorite players all playing at once. It was kind of nice. I wish we had a better team. And I have to admit, I only go for the who they're paying, the away team, because I want to see the Cubs or when the Yankees are in town or the Sox.
True fan, just came
yeah. But,
And this is the problem.
But at least we play really good,
I'm going to go
competitors.
see the Dodgers today.
A lot of people,
see?
go to see the Dodgers, the Giants.
Oh,
When
yeah.
they come in town, the Cardinals, when they came in town, it flooded with other people's fans, which
Well,
is
San
great.
Diego's a very big transplant
Totally.
city, so that's going to happen. That's just
But I guess the point is that playground is still there.
Yeah.
So the thing that made everyone excited about downtown still exists.
Right.
It's just in a little bit different state right now than what we would all like to see it as. So I think it's important for people who might be looking at downtown or considering it. In fact, I know several people who still live downtown now. They actually say they like it.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
you know what? Actually, it's great because it's not as crazy. Like ball game days aren't as crazy and there aren't as many
manageable.
people. They're like, it's amazing. I feel like I have it all to myself sometimes.
The small city idea.
Small town. It's a small town.
Because it's still manageable. It's easy to get in. It's easy to get out. You can find parking. We're not like New York City where you're paying $400 a month just to find a parking space.
Is it that cheap? I mean, like,
that is the cheapest parking spot you can find
I'm gonna
in
say,
New York City.
if you have one for that cheap, you
Yeah.
can probably flip that.
Yeah. You're like, ooh, I can resell this.
Absolutely.
But, we're paying $125, $150 a month for parking downtown. It's still very manageable downtown.
It's reasonable.
Yeah,
And the way that
exactly.
it was designed, the city was designed, it was designed recently, right? We designed all that stuff, the way the roads, it's all one way is going this way and then going the other way.
Very
on the odd
easy
streets.
to navigate downtown.
Exactly.
Super easy to get around for traffic to flow.
I mean, I've seen people go down the wrong way, but I think, we can talk about that another time.
Oh yeah.
At
Yeah.
nighttime?
We can have a whole segment about bad drivers.
Yes.
But I guess the point is that all the things that are good about it are still there.
Yeah.
All the things that have made people want to go there, all the things that made all the builders go build all those buildings,
Right.
all those things still exist. And could prices go lower? I guess so. They always could.
And here's an example outside of the ballpark. People drive down just to take their kids to the waterfront park.
That's true.
Yeah, how amazing is that?
And that's a really fun addition too,
Yeah,
as well.
really fun addition, and it makes downtown family friendly.
Yeah.
Which it probably doesn't have that persona, but now it does. Like, hey, you see people walking around with strollers outside, taking their kids out to the playground and play and splash around in the water, which I think is great.
Yeah, there's and it's also very dog friendly.
Very dog friendly.
I don't know if
have a
everyone
dog and I
realizes
love
that.
downtown. So
Yeah, I don't know if people realize that, but it's super dog friendly, and that comes from the crash when downtown got hit hard, and people had to start. A lot of the renters or the landlords and people who own units or people who moved and didn't sell had to start allowing dogs in order to get people to rent.
Right, right.
And so they started that, and then all of a sudden it just became a normal thing. And so it's very dog friendly. You'll see a lot of, you have Petco Park where you can bring your dogs.
Yeah, you have Courtyard, they're dog friendly. They have a designated dog area. Michi Park in Little Italy. You have the park outside of the waterfront, the grass area there. You know, everything's dog friendly. You know, some are leash, off leash, but you know, and the great thing about downtown, the Downtown San Diego partnership, they have people that go around and clean the sidewalks and the streets. So the smell that people are always like, oh my God, it smells downtown.
Well, they power wash it every
morning. They're power washing everything. Yeah. So it's very dog friendly, which I love as well.
What do you think? So my favorite building, the one I got my eye on, is Park Terrace. And the reason,
Park Terrace.
Yeah. So
Wait, Park Terrace?
Yeah.
The one right next to the Icon?
Yeah, on the back, around the...
right next to it, just one more down. It used to be sort of like the edge of East Village was Park Terrace. It was like Ballpark and then Park Terrace, which is across the street from the ballpark. I mean, you could throw a coin
I was
and hit
the
ballpark.
only person doing financing in that complex.
In Park Terrace? Really?
Literally.
Well, the units are not, they don't have great layouts in the units, right? That's the only downside to the building. But the location is phenomenal and the price per square foot is incredible for what you're getting. You're across the street. You can spit into Petco Park.
Yeah.
And now they're building all those rentals right there in the old parking lot. What is that called? Ballpark Village
Park
or something?
12, I believe.
Okay, something like that.
They're
Oh, I
finished.
heard about that.
Are they
place.
It's
finished?
huge. It's the largest,
Monstrous.
largest
I got a couple people
apartment
that just
community.
moved there.
Largest apartment community downtown.
Yeah.
But don't you think those are going to turn into like Vantage Point, and that's going to turn into a condo? Like condo conversion? Aren't they
think
designed after condos and they're just apartments for right now going to convert?
I think they will once they get past the litigation period. At least that's my guess is that what those builders, because there's also 13th and Market and there's a couple other ones that were built like that. And you go, well, wait a minute, why didn't they just build condos? Why are they building these rentals? Oh, maybe they don't want to sell.
Pinnacle on the park.
Yeah.
They're
I think they did it so they get through the litigation period, to get through the 10 years and then sell them.
Yeah, and then condo convert them.
Yeah. And I think when, you know, these, obviously, as we know, because we're all somehow in real estate, a lot of these plans have been in place for years. And then when the market crashed, you're like, well, I'm not going to build condos. That's stupid. Let's build apartments, you know, and then see what happens. And then you can convert them, you know, at a later time, which that was a very, you know, popular practice not too long ago. Yeah. A lot of condo conversions downtown. So.
100%. And it's always a risk for them, you know. I mean, I think 13th and Market, they would have been better off if they'd sold them. Yeah. You know, because they finished that, what, 3-4 years ago?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, I mean, if they had sold in that time and it was a super hot market, they could have got premiums there. But so it's always risky either way. But I think the main thing was the litigation. That's what people were getting crushed on litigation. It's like, okay, we sold it, and in the last few units, we had to, like, you know, just give them away to get them off the books and get this thing done and close it up. And then litigation came later, and I was like, gosh, just
never ending.
Crushed. Yeah, like when is this
But you
gonna
guys
stop?
have to remember, I mean, these developers who are building these $200, $300, $400 million buildings, these guys are the cream of the crop. They're the smartest in real estate. They know, like you're saying, they plan this out. So if they're going to go into that you know, that apartment, believe me, they have an end game.
Yeah.
And we just don't know it
Well, look
yet.
at rent prices. They're not cheap.
Yeah.
You know, I think the average one bedroom, and overall in San Diego is about $1,800. Downtown, we're talking about $2,200, $2,500 a month.
$15,000 a month for one of the penthouses at that new like Park 12.
Yeah.
There's another one that's $20,000
And there's people
a
out
month.
there's people out there willing to buy because they rather rent and tie up, you know,
$1 million
down
bucks?
payment.
Yeah.
They rather just rent and
I could pay $15,000 all day if I don't have to drop $1.2 million on my down payment, plus also pay $15,000 a month.
Right.
But you know,
And
it's an
so-
investment, right? So people have to understand when you're buying property, you're buying an investment.
You're just throwing that money away, but still.
Realtor, mortgage.
No, I'm saying on the rental.
There you have it.
No, you are.
On the rental one, you're like,
are
it's
throwing
15
the
grand a
money.
month. I mean, you are like, here you go.
It's gone.
Well, because
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
can
it's
get
history.
for 15 grand a month, you like you said, you're getting a penthouse, right?
That's
but
a different story.
But if you're paying 15 grand a month somewhere else, you might be living, you know, in La
Coastal.
Jolla or somewhere that, I don't know, maybe you don't want to live in that particular home. You might not even afford that particular home, but you can rent it.
Yeah.
So that's the difference, you know.
Yeah, we're going to see. I think rents are going to lead the way. they're going to show us what's happening in the marketplace. And we started to see a little bit of rent softening in the past 6 months.
Yeah,
and I think that was the leading indicator for us that we might see a softening. But I do think downtown is on sale. Conclusion, downtown on sale.
I love downtown.
I absolutely love downtown. Great stuff from Sid Muldrow. Thank you for coming in today. And we're going to see your little Italy listing here on Listed Live just shortly. So looking forward to that. And the Mortgage Geek, ladies and gentlemen, Sean K.
Oh yeah, hey, I just want to show you one thing. I do have a mullet.
Yeah.